Hello students, very important lecture, metallurgy, extraction of iron. Iron, you know, is the most important metal which it finds wide applications in our everyday life. The alloys of iron also. So the extraction of iron is a special, attention which we do by a blast furnace. Blast furnace. What are the ores of the iron which we are having? You have heard about Fe2O3, Fe3O4, hematite, students, magnetite, FeCO3, siderite, and FeS2 is our iron pyrites. These are the ores of the iron, students. So you can see that you have sulfides, you have carbonates. Most of the time we are using hematite or magnetite. These ores are very important. What we do in the metallurgy, you already know. First step is the concentration of the ores. So here you can do concentration by hydraulic washing. The sand, clay, they can be washed away. They can be washed away by water. So specific gravity separation method. The density of sand, clay is less than the ore of the iron, so it can be washed away with the water. We have already discussed hydraulic means pressure. So pressure of water is applied and the lighter impurities are washed away with the flow of the water, because there is a difference in the densities of ore and the gangue. So ore is heavier, ore has a higher specific gravity, therefore this is one method. Second, of course, is itself clear. The second method of concentration will be, students, magnetic separation can be done here. So as you can see, magnetite, if the ore is magnetic in nature, we can use magnetic rollers, and the impurities are non-magnetics, therefore we can apply the magnetic separation also for the iron ores. So crushing, grinding, concentration, this is done. After that, students, you already know what we are doing: calcination or roasting. Two things. The carbonate ores can be calcined. Calcination means heating in absence or limited supply of air or oxygen, and roasting means you will heat the ore in the presence of air or oxygen. So what is the result of this? You will get oxides and moisture removed. Moisture is removed. Then volatile impurities, students, like SO2, etc., oxidized, and they are also removed, and the ore becomes more porous. So it is easier for us to further do the reduction or smelting process which we are going to do with the oxide of the iron. So this is the preliminary treatment of the ores of the iron. Now let us see what else will happen, because this is a very important extraction. We will be discussing the principles of the extraction, or the step I am talking is the reduction of oxides of iron. What we are saying is that, for example, let us see what is the theory. And I am using thermodynamics. In the last lecture, I have told you about the Ellingham diagram, which says that for a reaction to take place, delta G should be negative, and we find if for a reaction delta G is negative, the reaction will proceed. In other words, what I am trying to say that I am going to remove oxygen from here, students, oxygen from this, and delta G for this is not negative. Delta F G, here I am saying delta G 0 for this not negative. Therefore, this reaction will not take place by itself, as it will need very very high temperature, which is also not possible. So what we do then? We use a reducing agent. What we are going to do? Use a reducing agent. And you know what we are doing here, carbon. So if I have carbon and if I have oxygen, what it will form? Carbon monoxide gas. Now this reaction, this oxidation of carbon, you can say that now if I add these two, what will be the result of this? This is get cancelled. This delta G is negative. That was positive. So the reaction was not taking place. Now if I add the two reactions, what is the result of this? Parasulfate, carbon, FeS, solid, and CO gas. This delta G 0, which is the sum of these two. I am saying this is my delta G01, this is my delta G02. So delta 01 plus delta 02, this will is negative, hence this reaction will take place. Therefore, carbon will be able to snatch oxygen from iron oxide, and carbon monoxide is more stable than iron oxide. The reaction will proceed in the forward direction, and we will be able to reduce oxide of iron by using coke, or what I am saying, carbon, or carbon monoxide. We will see which is being used, C or CO, and this reaction is possible because the delta G for this reaction is negative. We will see the Ingham diagram to find out how the reaction is proceeding. The basic thermodynamics is very clear that it is not possible to dissociate iron oxide at a lower temperature. Therefore, we have to add a reducing agent. The reducing agent which we are adding here is carbon. Carbon is coke, is very easily available, cheap, and carbon has more affinity for oxygen. It will be able to reduce iron oxide to carbon monoxide, but the process is done in a very sophisticated type of furnace, which we are talking of the blast furnace, students. So we will tell you how this reaction takes place and what are the various reactions which are going to take place in the various parts of the blast furnace, because carbon can act as an reducing agent, carbon monoxide can act as a reducing agent, and we will like to see at which part of the blast furnace what type of reactions are taking place. So coke is available, it is used as a reducing agent, and their reduction by coke or carbon is known as smelting. What we call this as smelting. So basically we are doing smelting for the reduction. Let us see, students, I have already drawn a diagram which is given in the NCERT book, because otherwise it will waste a lot of time for me. The diagram is not going to be asked in exam, only to see what are the various reactions which are taking place in the blast furnace which is used, because it is a special furnace. I am talking of blast furnace. Students, here I have shown a diagram of the blast furnace which you can go and see in any book. You don't have to remember it because it is not going to be asked in the examination. However, what is important is the temperatures at various points which are there. Ore, limestone and coke is just fed into this. This is a blast furnace, and air and oxygen is blown, hot air and oxygen. What will happen, students? There are different zones of temperature as you can see in the blast furnace. Let us see what are the different zones, student. So first at the lower zone you will see, lower zone, which I am saying the combustion zone. Combustion zone. What is happening? Carbon reacts with oxygen gas to form carbon dioxide gas. This is a combustion reaction, will liberate a lot of heat, highly exothermic reaction, and the temperature, as you can see, goes up to 2170 Kelvin. Very high temperature, because carbon will burn with oxygen, lot of heat will be liberated, highly exothermic reaction. And this carbon dioxide will react further with carbon which is present to form carbon monoxide. So carbon is reducing carbon dioxide. This reaction is endothermic, heat is absorbed. Therefore, as if we go up, the temperature is decreasing. Here what is happening, that there is a decrease in temperature. It comes to around 142.321.673 Kelvin. So from 217 temperature goes, as the carbon monoxide will rise above, what will happen, students? that the carbon monoxide will start reducing the oxides of the iron at different points. Now let us see the Ellingham diagram which I have drawn particularly because this is very important, students. We have already given 2 lectures on Ellingham diagram, that this diagram helps us in finding the right reducing agent for an oxide. Here you can see that this is a line which is carbon monoxide to carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide to carbon dioxide, and this is a line where carbon coke reacts with oxygen to form carbon monoxide. Students, these are the values which we have plotted. This is a delta FG0 values. These are negative values. They are becoming less negative as I go up. Temperature is in the Kelvin state. Important point is, this is a dark line which I have shown. This is the iron Fe forming FeO. As we know from Ellingham diagram, those lines which are lying lower will be able to reduce the lines which are lying above them. Therefore, you can say that the crossover temperature is students 1073. There, and you see that below 1037 Kelvin, below 1073 Kelvin, the below 1037 the CO2 line is lower. Therefore, in lower temperature range, CO will act as reducing agent. Students, very important point to be noted down. This line is lower than this iron. This line is lower. What is this line? This line, student, carbon monoxide is being oxidized to carbon dioxide. Therefore, below 1073, carbon monoxide will act as a reducing agent, and above 1073, you see what happens? This line becomes up, and the line of coke or carbon becomes lower. So above 103 Kelvin, the carbon or coke will act as a reducing agent. This is important. Therefore, in the blast furnace, as the temperature changes, lower temperature CO acts as a reducing agent. Above 1073, it is the coke, is the carbon which acts as a reducing agent. And here we have shown different reactions which are taking place at different temperature zones. This is what is important for exams. The point to explain was in Ellingham diagram, which I explained in my last 2 lectures, and a diagram is given in the book also. The lines which are lower reduces the lines which are above them. Lower temperature, carbon monoxide less than 1073, and higher than 1073 temperature, this is clearly indicating that this line is lower, so carbon will be acting as a reducing agent. So what is happening between 500 to 900 Kelvin temperature? This is my lower temperature. The carbon monoxide acts as a reducing agent. And what will be the result of that, students? We have a chalk. So what is happening that in this temperature range, Fe2O3 will react with carbon monoxide. This is gas, this is solid, and you will get Fe3O4. This is our solid, and carbon dioxide gas. So let us see. This is 3, this is 2. So let us balance this 3 and 2. What happens further, students? That this carbon monoxide will react with Fe3O4 and carbon monoxide, and you will get iron 3Fe. Either it is solid or liquid, depends on the temperature, and CO2 gas 4, so 4. So this is your carbon dioxide, so 4CO2. So what is happening, students? That this carbon monoxide is acting as a reducing agent at temperature range 500 to 309, and then Fe2O3 will be reacting with carbon monoxide. The result of this is 2FeO plus CO2. So here you can see that the role of carbon monoxide gas in this temperature range, and above 1073 K, what is going to happen? That FeO will react with carbon which is our coke here, because this line you can see becomes lower after 1073 key, so it will reduce. You have iron solid or liquid and you have carbon monoxide gas. And also students, what is happening, that we have added limestone as a flux to remove SiO2 impurity. So this is our CaCO3 will dissociate to give CaO plus CO2. This is our gas, this is our solid, and CaO will react with SiO2 to form CaSiO3. This is our slag and this is our flux. So limestone is our this is our flux. Now the slag is also in the molten state, iron is also in the molten state. Slag is lighter. So you will see that the iron is here, slag is floating on the top of the surface of the iron, and we can draw the slag out from the molten iron which is there. And this slag is important because the density of slag is less than the molten iron, therefore it floats and prevents further oxidation of the iron. So this is happening around 1123 Kelvin temperature. Different temperature zone, student, what we are trying to show, different type of reactions are taking place, and the result is that we have been able to get iron. This iron now which we are getting, this is called pig iron. The iron which we get is a pig iron. It contains 4% of carbon and also has some impurities like sulfur, phosphorus, silicon and manganese. Then this is converted into cast iron. What we do, pig iron plus scrap iron, and you blow air. This is another operation which is done. The result of this is that the percentage of carbon is reduced to 3%. And the carbon is oxidized. The carbon will be oxidized in this matter. So there will be reduction in the amount of the carbon to 3. And then it is brought in the cast iron form, cooled to form cast. This is hard and brittle. Now the commercial and the purest form is commercial, and the purest form is of iron is wrought iron. It has about 0.2 to 0.5% carbon and some small amounts of impurities are there. This is prepared from cast iron. Cast iron is oxidized by hematite Fe2O3. You can add limestone in reverberatory furnace. Again, hot air is blown. The carbon is oxidized by Fe2O3. This is our hematite. This oxidizes the carbon to carbon monoxide, and the result is what you are getting is iron. Iron is being produced here, students, and you get iron solid or liquid depending on the temperature. And this what you are getting, the oxidation of the carbon takes place. This is a result of this. Therefore, student, what we are doing is basically we are oxidizing this carbon to form this, which is you can balance the equation if you want. So to see, so the result is what you can see. We are reducing the amount of carbon to 0.2 to 0.5%. Iron becomes malleable and ductile. This is the iron which is in great demand, and you prepare stainless steel and other alloys of the carbon by using the best and the most commercial form of iron is wrought iron. Therefore, students, what we have tried to show you here, the different zones in which different reactions are taking place and the thermodynamics of the reduction of the oxide of the iron using Ellingham diagram. Alright, students, I will meet you in my next class where I will discuss the extraction of copper, and then also we will discuss the copper extraction of the zinc.